All right, so good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My name is Braden Pierce, and I'm a ramp worker at Amazon KCVG, but more importantly, I'm a labor organizer with the Amazon Labor Union KCVG. So we're here today to announce steps to establish our union in earnest. We are launching our Constitution campaign, and where we have drafted an official union constitution and are asking our co-workers to weigh in and make their voices heard on how they want this union to be established and run. We're also here to fight back against Amazon management, who in the recent days has fired my co-organizer, Griffin. We're grateful to be joined by other leaders in the labor movement as well in the area. And we are also grateful that Sherrod Brown's office, Senator Sherrod Brown, was able to send someone out to speak and read a statement. So after the speakers, there will be time for the media to ask questions. So we ask that you all save those until the very end. So up first will be my co-organizer, Griffin.
My name's Griffin, and I'm a member of Amazon Labor Union KCVG, lifelong Cincinnati resident. And up until a couple days ago, last week, I worked at Amazon KCVG's Air Cargo Center just up the road in Florence, where management fired me for supporting our union drive and organizing my coworkers. Until then, I operated a tug at KCVG. My coworkers unload big aluminum containers out of the cargo planes, and I drove them over the sort building and back out, where other workers unloaded tens of thousands of packages every shift and resorted them into other containers, which then got put on planes or trucks and sent on to their final destinations. KCVG is Amazon's largest air cargo hub in the world. We process hundreds of millions of packages every year. If you're in Los Angeles and you order a product that was in a New York warehouse, chances are me and my coworkers handled those packages. If you're in Michigan and you ordered something from a Texas warehouse, we probably helped get that package to your doorstep. If you're in Columbus or Louisville, we took your package off a plane and loaded it into a truck. There are about 4,000 of us at KCVG, and without us collectively, Amazon does not run. No packages move without workers at KCVG. We're proud of our work, but we're sick and tired of the poverty wages and mistreatment by Amazon managers. We're tired of staring at empty pantry cupboards. We're tired of sitting at our kitchen tables late at night trying to figure out which bills we're going to pay this month, whether it's the electric or the phone that's going to get shut off next week. We're tired of dealing with bill collectors, debt collectors, putting off medical appointments, having to do GoFundMes just to get by, pay your car bill, whatever it is, pay a medical debt. Coworkers doubled up in apartments, couch surfing. It's no way to live. It's no way to live working for one of the wealthiest corporations in the world. And while we struggle to get by, the executives and the top CEOs, the billionaires, make record profits. At Amazon, in just the third quarter alone, executives boasted to their shareholders that they made nearly $10 billion in profits in just a couple months. That's $110 million in profits every single day. In just the time that it will take to hold this press conference, Amazon executives will record another $4.6 million in profits. Think about that. The money that's made off our labor and the labor of Amazon workers everywhere. Money that's leaving our community and is going straight to the fat cats at the top. It's that money that paid for Jeff Bezos' 427-foot luxury yacht, a $500 million floating palace with an on-deck swimming pool that's bigger than most apartments that we squeeze our families into. It's that money that paid for his joyrides into space a couple years ago. It's money that's made CEO Andy Jassy a centimillionaire. A centimillionaire. That's $100 million. Several times over. And that's bloated Bezos' net worth to a staggering $180 billion. $180 billion. Amazon's close to becoming the first trillion-dollar company on record in the world. A little over a year ago, me and my coworkers began to organize around common sense demands. A starting wage of $30 an hour so we can pay the rent and live with dignity. 180 hours of paid time off a year so we can spend time with our family, our children, our friends. Paid translation rights for our coworkers who speak English as a second language, who every day endure discrimination and harassment from Amazon managers that think they're worth less and treat them badly. And union representation for all workers at KCVG if they're brought into disciplinary hearings with HR. Because our constitutional right to due process shouldn't end when we clock in at work. Over the last year, workers have been joining the union and doing the hard work of organizing day in and day out as Amazon Labor Union KCVG. Last fall, Amazon ramped up their union busting campaign, and we organized marches on the boss to go to management and demand respect, show our demands, and show them that we knew our rights and we would not back down no matter what they threw at us. Amazon's response was to bring in high-paid union-busting lawyers from some of the top firms in the world, from Vegas, Dallas, Chicago, Southern California, and they dressed up these corporate lawyers in red vests and high-vis vests and work boots and marched them around the workplace like they were ordinary Amazon workers, and they could have these organizing conversations, talking against the union, lying to workers about their rights, and trying to scare them from getting organized. I just heard from a coworker yesterday that managers are wearing body cameras now, walking around the floor asking workers who signed a card. And that's a new low for Amazon, but we shouldn't be surprised. This is Amazon we're talking about. We know who they are, and we need to make sure that they know who we are, and we're going to fight, and we're going to win against this company. They've also plastered the workplace with anti-union messages everywhere you look. 6-foot posters all over the place in the warehouse. I haven't been gone that long. It's all over the place. The union's bad. The union's an outside group. The union won't respect your privacy. And most of all, they say that the union cannot win. Let me just ask a simple question. If having a union won't improve our lives as workers, if the union's so ineffective, if we can't win, then why would Amazon fight so hard to stop us? Why are they so scared and willing to illegally fire a worker who's been at the center of this campaign? The fact is they're scared of our growing power. It's not about me or any other individual worker. It's about what we represent when we act collectively and we get organized. They saw in November and December that we were standing up for one another. They've seen this in the past month, in a 10-day period where we surveyed over 500 of our coworkers and developed our own union constitution, asking questions like, how much should we pay on union dues? What are membership rights in the union? And giving our coworkers a real voice in building our own independent union at KCVG. And this company sees the growing excitement as workers mobilize for Saturday's community rally to begin voting on our union constitution and officially establish ourselves as Amazon Labor Union KCVG. Amazon is scared because they see that we're on the path to win. And they can't stop us, but they're going to try. And that's why they fired me last week. That's why, shamefully, they might fire other workers in the weeks and months ahead. But that's not the sign of a confident management. That's the sign of a management that sees our growing power and is scared. After I got fired, I began getting messages from coworkers, lots of coworkers. Some were union supporters, some were somewhere in the middle, others, I had a good working relationship with, but maybe didn't support us. And they said, we got your back. Marcio and I went out to the facility the next morning after I got fired, talking to our coworkers, and got a lot of support, a lot of hugs, a lot of messages of support, and a lot of commitments to get involved and fight this company for what we deserve. Amazon firing me, if anything, has added momentum to our union drive. And it's made it clear to everybody what's at stake here and how far this company will go to stop us from getting what we deserve. And that's why we have to stand together and we have to fight back. I have a message for Jeff Bezos. You're not here today. Maybe you're cruising the Mediterranean on the yacht, or sipping martinis in your glass skyscraper in Seattle, listen up. This fight is about you, it's about your greed, and it's about what you're trying to do to our community at KCVG. So you need to hear this. You don't know us. Yeah, you came through 4.5 years ago and, pushed around a pile of dirt in a Bobcat at the groundbreaking for KCVG. It's a funny video. You can find it on YouTube. But you don't do the work. You came, you did a photo op, and you jetted away. I grew up in this area in Cincinnati, lived here my whole life. These people here with us today, we're taking you on. Me and my coworkers and neighbors in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, we're the community. Iron workers, construction workers, build your factories and warehouses. That's union labor, 90% of the time. Teachers educate our kids. Teamsters deliver our goods. Grocery workers keep us fed. Social workers house our neighbors. You don't know us, Jeff Bezos. Some of us are builders and farmers. Many workers out here still farm. They have the family farm on the weekends when they're not at KCVG. They're childcare workers. We're civil servants. We're postal workers and delivery drivers. This is about our whole community, not just KCVG workers in this area. We're resilient, determined, and we don't back down from a fight. And you've picked the fight with us. And it's not just Griffin the tug driver or a couple people on the ramp, but it's all of us standing together, our supporters in the community and the union standing beside us today. We formed our union to win the basic dignity that every worker deserves. Amazon Labor Union KCVG, it's a homegrown union built on a fighting spirit, hard work, and democratic values. When you, Jeff Bezos, pick this fight with us, you pick the fight with a crowd that won't back down. When you, Jeff Bezos, had your managers fire me and walk me off the property, I was told by HR at KCVG this came from the top levels of HR in this company. You made the wrong decision walking me out because it only made our union stronger. It's not about one person, it's about all of us at KCVG. Just look at the people here today, and the hundreds of workers that heard about what happened and are pissed off and ready to fight back. In closing, I also have a message for Amazon workers everywhere. We're all facing the same conditions. We're all working our butts off while Amazon's millionaires and billionaires sip fancy drinks off their luxury yachts. We're in this together. Let's get together, let's unite, let's organize. Our fight is not just for KCVG workers, it's for the rights of Amazon workers everywhere. And there are many unions in this area and around the country pitching in to help Amazon workers organize nationwide and worldwide. Postal workers, Teamsters, retail workers, teachers unions, independent unions like the one at JFK 8 in Staten Island, Cause in South Carolina, Amazonians United in many places. Let's all work together and let's get organized. We can win a $30 an hour starting pay at Amazon. We can win 180 hours of paid time off for every worker. We can win translation rights. We can win union representation. So let's stand together. Let's fight against billionaire greed. Let's fight for what we deserve. And let's fight for our community. Solidarity.
Thank you, Griffin. Now, Griffin noted that a lot of us have deep familial ties to this area, and I myself, my family have been farming in this area for generations, and when I'm not at KCVG working for Amazon, making them millions of dollars, or organizing my coworkers to fight back for the things that we deserve, I'm there helping to keep the lights on and working there as well. And Griffin is absolutely right. This union drive, it's about the fight between our homegrown, worker-led, and community-focused union against a corporate giant that is hell-bent on imposing and importing its profit-hungry values on our community. Now, I would like to welcome Brian Griffin, president of the Cincinnati AFL-CIO. Starting on Saturday, KCVG workers will begin voting to ratify our new Constitution, and we are extremely excited to join the United States labor movement and the AFL-CIO Union Federation. Brian was there at our launch rally last March and is here standing with us again today. So, welcome Brian Griffin.
Thank you. Thank you much. Good afternoon. My name is Brian Griffin. I am the Executive Secretary Treasurer for the Cincinnati AFL-CIO Labor Council. I have the honor of standing here today representing more than 35,000 working men and women and their families. Working families from more than 100 different local unions. And there are 12 million plus sisters and brothers from the AFL-CIO across this great nation. We are proud to stand here today with these valiant members of the Amazon Labor Union, KCVG, who are fighting for $30 an hour base pay, 180 hours of paid time off, translation rights, and union representation in meetings with management. My brave sisters and brothers are standing up for all workers everywhere who struggle with low pay and abusive management. My brave sisters and brothers were mentioned indirectly by the words of Richard Trumka. It all comes back to one absolute truth. It all comes back to one absolute truth, that each and every day one of us should be decently paid. We should all be decently paid for the work that we do. That means having the right to organize and negotiate for better wages and benefits, a reasonable work schedule, and a voice on the job. We know that being part of a union is the surest way to get better wages, equal pay, health care, sick days, and vacation time. When we stand together, we're stronger. In that same speech, President Trump went on to say that it's about more than dollars and cents. It's about a better life for all working people, no matter who you love or how you worship, no matter where you come from or what you do. On Tuesday, January 23, Amazon management fired Griffin Reitz for activities that are protected under the National Labor Relations Act. We support Griffin. We support these Amazon workers, and if Amazon thinks that by firing Griffin, they can intimidate workers and break the union's momentum, they are gravely mistaken. I am here today to say that that won't happen. The workers are continuing to organize, and the AFL-CIO stands 100% with them. Our message to Amazon is clear. When you attack one of us, we fight back. Together. Because an injury to one of us is an injury to all of us. Thank you. It's better in a union.
Thank you, Brian. Up next, I'd like to welcome Dave Baker, business manager of Ironworkers Local 44. Dave and the Ironworkers were among the first in the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky labor movement to support us through monetary donations, as well as standing shoulder to shoulder with us. And we cannot thank them enough. So thank you, Dave Baker, and thank all members of Local 44 of the Ironworkers. Let's hear from Dave Baker.
Get him back.
Hello. As stated, my name's Dave Baker. I'm the business manager of Ironworkers Local 44 here in Cincinnati, and I kind of have a twofold message, today. One, to the workers out there that are organizing. You don't know my history. You don't know me. But for 8 years prior to my 26th birthday, well, really, I started working at about 12 years old. And I can tell you that I made a lot of rich men richer. I worked and slaved and showed up and made a lot of people a lot of money, and they didn't share a lot of it with me. And that day didn't happen until I joined a union, until I became a member of the Ironworkers Union, and finally felt like I was getting compensated properly for my hard work. The workers are asking the same thing here at Amazon, and if you're at Amazon and people are talking to you about that union idea, you really, really need to look at the facts. And the facts are that together you're strong and one by one you're not. It's really that simple. And so I'm imploring those workers to stand up. And then the second part is, directly to Amazon. I don't remember the billions that he said, okay? But what I can tell you is it's more than enough to help folks make a fair and decent wage to live on, which they ain't at right now. They ain't even close to. Most of the folks at Amazon can't afford to buy a house, can't afford a new car, can't afford food some months. Many are choosing between buying necessities and buying food, buying medicine. They got to pick and choose which one they're going to go out without this month. And it shouldn't have to be like that. If you show up in this country and you go to work and a company's making billions of dollars, it's not a lot to ask to share some of that with the people who are doing the work. It's also not a lot to ask to have them do it in a safe environment. Amazon has a history of unsafe and just really a laxy-daisy attitude towards being safe. We personally lost a member on that job site. Now, it wasn't Amazon's fault that we lost a member. It was a horrible tragedy. But what I can tell you is when we said, hey, can we hang a plaque in honor of that member, we were told that would bring down morale. All right? That would bring down morale. We wouldn't want to bring down morale while we're disciplining and not paying our people enough money, right? I have heard stories from these workers in regards to the fact that they are called into rooms and they face disciplinary action, and they have people talking down to them in a multitude of ways, and they have no one that they can count on there right now because they don't have union representation. One of my jobs in the union here at Local 44 is to make sure that my members have representation. Now, luckily for us, there's not a ton of incidents with us because they already know that it's not going to work with us. But when they know that there's no union there, they take full advantage of it. And so the folks out there asking for a fair and decent wage, asking to have a representative there to help them in that disciplinary action, and to ask for some paid time off, that they can take a day off to go to the doctor, or that they can go see a child's play or lunch with their child one day because, they want to see their family grow up before them. That's not a lot to ask. It really isn't a lot to ask. And especially from folks that, realistically, he could probably give them all a raise if he just shed $1 billion off of his pile. But he won't even do that, And it sickens me, the disparaging amount of money between the guy at the top and the guy at the bottom. We're not asking for a lot, but I will tell you this. We are asking for fair share. And that's, I don't know how else to put it out there except for to tell you that there's a lot of people here in Cincinnati that believe in this cause. There's a lot of trade unions. There's a lot of other unions amongst the teachers and the firefighters and all kinds of unionized folk here who want to see this happen. And if these members can band together, they can change their life. And I hope they do. And Brian said it, and I'm going to say it. All you did by firing Griffin is free him up to unionize more. Because now he ain't working, right? So now he's just out there doing exactly what he needs to be doing, which is getting the rest of the workers on board with making this union happen. So I hope that you guys get to hear it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave Baker, and thanks again to the iron workers at Local 44 for all they've done to support us. Up next, we have Marcio Rodriguez. Now, Marcio Rodriguez is a ramp agent, same as both me and Griffin, out at Amazon, and has been working at Amazon for many years. Along with that, he's been working alongside me and Griffin and has been a key member of the Amazon Labor Union Coordinating Committee. Marcio has been a key leader in not only the coordinating committee, but also the union's fight for translation at work for all workers who need so. He has been one of the most vocal fighters for immigrant rights at Amazon KCVG and has been a stalwart of our union drive. So let's hear from Marcio Rodriguez.
Hello everyone, my name is Marcio Rodriguez and I work at KCVG on ramp. I'm a proud member of the Amazon Labor Union KCVG. I'm fighting for a union because I too, like Griffin, was fired at CVG2. I worked at a returns warehouse. I was in the process of renewing my DACA permit, told that everything that I had filed with Amazon was correct. I go in one day and I had been terminated. I never want anything like this to happen to anybody in the immigrant community, and that's why I feel so strong about having a union. When I heard that Amazon had fired Griffin, I wasn't surprised. It's shameful, but this is how the company has operated for years. We're organizing our union precisely to stop this sort of behavior from Amazon. Amazon thinks that by firing Griffin, they can stop us from organizing. The opposite is true. By firing Griffin, Amazon has given us even more incentive to organize. In the past week, more workers have been joining our union because they see that the only way for us to protect our jobs is to stick together. We're moving full speed ahead. This month, we're forming our union by democratically adopting our own union constitution. Then after we do that, we are going to demand that Amazon recognize our union and bargain a contract that improves our working conditions, no matter what it takes. We're also going to have a community event on Saturday. We're going to be kicking off our union constitution. You can drop in anytime between 12 and 6 at Florence Christian Church. We deeply appreciate all the support from the unions that we have here and the community groups that are here today. Our fight is your fight, and together we can establish our union at KCVG and fight for the $30 an hour and rights for all workers. We appreciate Senator Brown's statement of support today. Many of us live in Ohio. Senator Brown is standing with us. We call on other elected officials to also stand with us. You have a choice. Stand with the workers of Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, or side with Amazon. Especially after Griffin's firing, it's clear that there's never going to be a middle ground. Our message to Amazon is clear. When you attack one of us, we're going to all fight back together. Because an injury to one is an injury to all. You can't stop us. We have a union at KCVG. We are fighting for $30 an hour, 180 hours of PTO, translation rights, and union representation. And we're never going to stop until we win. Solidarity, everyone.
Thank you, Marcio. When we reached out to the political leaders in the area after Griffin was fired, Senator Sherrod Brown's office was the first to respond. His office immediately offered support and solidarity, and we appreciate that the senator sent his staff, Joyce Frazier-Powdrill, to read a support statement today. So please welcome Joyce.
Good afternoon. As he said, I am Joyce Powdrill. I'm the Southwest Regional Director for U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown. I am happy to be here on his behalf. Along with me today is Sarah Benzing, our Chief of Staff, and I will read a brief statement from the Senator on your behalf. Workers at KCVG Air Hub outside Cincinnati are fighting for the dignity at work, and we stand with them in that fight. It is an honor to join the community and on both sides of the river to stand up for the rights of the workers at Amazon. Workers have the right to organize legally and morally. They have the right to band together for a voice in your workplace, for better pay and benefits, for more control over their schedules, for better working conditions. It's time, it's past time for Amazon to recognize and honor the dignity of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. We greatly appreciate the Senator's continued and ongoing support, and we urge other politicians to send their support and solidarity as well. By firing Griffin, Amazon management has shown that there are only two sides in this: to stand with Amazon workers or to stay silent and let Amazon continue its union busting. We urge other elected officials to join us this Saturday and show the community that you stand with Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana workers and not with this union busting corporate giant. Now I want to introduce Charlie Buffano, president of the Boone County Classified Employees Association. Charlie has been a big supporter of ours since last summer after helping mobilize union support for our big Family Day event. Thanks, BCCEA, for your ongoing support, and welcome, Charlie.
Thank you. My name is Charlie Buffano. Like you said, I'm the president of the Boone County Classified Employees Association. That is the group I represent. All the other workers besides teachers. That's custodians, transportation workers, food service, office staff, operations people. We've been working on our own attempt at getting a collective bargaining for over a year now, and it's a process. As I told these guys when they started, you just got to keep going. They'll try to slow you down. They'll try to do whatever. Hopefully with them, what they did to a coworker there, Griffin, that wakes the rest of them up, because if you do something like that to one, what do you think they're going to do when they want to come after you next? Same thing I tell my own members. If you see it happen to one, they'll do it right away to you also. So you just have to keep plugging along. Don't let them beat you down. I mean, that's what I try to do. Sometimes I have a tough time with that. I feel it beats me down, but I get up and I just do it again. So with that, like I said, these guys just got to keep continuing, plugging along. Don't have any fear, because that's exactly what management wants you. And I'll leave you with the one line I tell my own members and I tell every other group that I speak to. Management that fears a collective bargaining or a contract is management that knows they're shafting their employees. You know, a happy employee is a productive employee, which eventually only betters the company. It amazes me how they just don't see that. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be there to support you as much as we can. Thank you.
One day longer, one day stronger.
Thank you, Charlie. Your support has meant a lot to us. So last but not least, we have Leah Stevens, an organizer with Workers Strike Back. Workers Strike Back is an independent national movement organizing in workplaces and communities, and have been a crucial supporter in our union's drive thus far. Leah is also a worker with the Amazon Labor Union, KCVG, and has been very contributing, and we couldn't have made it this far without her. So thank you, Leah.
Hey everyone, my name is Leah. I'm an organizer with Workers Strike Back and involved in building community support for ALU, KCVG across Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. Workers Strike Back is a national independent movement launched by Shama Sawant and Socialist Alternative last year to fight back against the bosses in our schools, workplaces, and communities. Workers Strike Back, not only in northern Kentucky, but across the country, is proud to stand with Amazon Labor Union, KCVG. Their fight for $30 an hour, 180 hours paid time off, translation rights, union representation, and disciplinary meetings is a battle that will raise the bar for workers everywhere. Amazon firing a leading pro-union worker who has been fighting for these things since day one of this campaign is despicable and unfortunately not surprising with a company like Amazon. Amazon is terrified. They think that using illegal tactics like firing Griffin will slow down the union's momentum, and they are wrong. He is one of many workers who have been heroically standing up to Amazon and their abusive management. And Workers Strike Back will stand behind these workers in this monumental fight, from formally establishing their union with a constitution, to fighting for federal union recognition, to winning the contract they deserve. Nationally, Workers Strike Back has raised over $40,000 directly to ALU KCVG in weeks of action our members have run in our communities from LA to New York City, because ordinary people everywhere are facing the pressure of inflation, low wages, and grueling working conditions. So everyone has stakes in the victory of this union drive. And behind every dollar raised for this campaign is a young person or a worker who sees the importance of going to bat against one of the biggest bosses in the world. But I won't pull any punches. $40,000 is a drop in the bucket compared to the billions of dollars that Amazon makes off the backs of their employees every year. And it's a drop in the bucket compared to the $14 million Amazon poured into high-paid, third-party professional union busters last year to intimidate workers, spread lies, and protect their profits and power. Amazon may have billions of dollars, but we've got the powers of workers and community united. Workers Strike Back has been organizing people to make calls, knock doors, table, and rally, and Amazon firing Griffin will only make us double down in support for ALU KCVG. Workers in Northern Kentucky are hungry to get organized and to fight for what we all desperately need: real raises, good union jobs, affordable healthcare and housing, an end to discrimination in the workplace, and a new party run by and for working people and not the billionaires. We want every worker at KCVG to know that their community has their backs. So please join Workers Strike Back in supporting the largest and most important union drive happening in the country right here in our backyards. And please join ALU KCVG this Saturday, February 3rd, from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Florence Christian Church for an indoor rally, an event to demand Amazon reinstates Griffin and support KCVG workers as they establish their union. Solidarity.
Thank you, Leah. Now, I'd like to take a moment to encourage members of the public to come out and join us this Saturday, February 3rd, at the Florence Community Church. We'll have food from the community members, we'll have activities for the kids, and you'll hear more from other leaders in the union organizations that have been supporting us thus far, as well as other members of the Amazon Labor Union KCVG Coordinating Committee. And that's when we'll be launching our Constitution vote. Now at this time we have a couple minutes, so if any of the members of the media have any questions, now's the time to ask.
What's the significance of the Constitution for people who aren't familiar with the labor movement in general? What does that actually do?
So the Constitution is our baseline of how the union should be run and operated. It's a little bit different from bylaws, where the bylaws get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of certain processes and things like that, but this is our foundational document.
What kind of things are decided? What's one or two examples?
Right now we have what the dues should be and the frequency thereof, that they're deducted from paychecks, leadership structures, so how our actual union is structured and the hierarchy of that, as well as membership rights, like the right to authorize a strike through a vote and what the union members can vote on.
And then as far as actually getting the union in place with a vote, I think someone said that you want them to recognize you voluntarily, and if that doesn't happen, is that when you go to a vote?
So the vote would be as soon as we have collected 30% of our entire workforce, which is the NLRB's threshold to file for a NLRB election.
You're there then?
So we're getting ready. We're gearing up for that. That's part of why the Constitution is so important, why we want that ratified, and why Saturday is so important.
Any idea, will the vote likely happen this calendar year, or what does that look like?
I mean, I would say
Yeah.
on the vote, like in particular, last year we showed this company that we're demanding 30 an hour, 180 hours paid time off, having union representation. Right now, we're formalizing our organizing structures, as Pierce was saying, developing a democratic union constitution, and the next stage now is to fight this company and demand recognition through an NLRB election. So we'll file for an NLRB election when we're ready to file for an NLRB election, but not any sooner than that. It's not about a number, it's about our strength to fight.
And then, do you want to respond, Griffin, to any of the statements that the companies made? I don't remember the details of them. I saw them published elsewhere, but I think they allege some kind of misconduct there.
You'd have to ask Amazon exactly why they fired me. I asked HR. I was told that I was self-assigning by asking if I could attend their anti-union captive audience meetings that workers are asked to go to. They're supposed to be voluntary. They're given the impression that they're not so voluntary. But suspiciously, myself and other pro-union workers were not asked to attend these meetings, so simply asked the manager 4 or 5 times throughout a few weeks if I could attend one of these meetings and, weigh in on this conversation. They told me no 5 times. Allegedly, they handed me a document with the dates on it. And a month and a half later, I'm brought into the management office, taken out, of the workplace, and told that I'm being fired for essentially being off task by asking if I can attend a voluntary meeting. So, 4 minutes at the very most. So, do the math on that. We work 10-hour shifts. Some of my coworkers work 60 hours a week. This is hard work out in the elements, and they want to fire me, for trying to speak up for my coworkers, for asking a question, for taking 4 minutes, of their time to ask if I could also equally participate, in this question at our workplace. So,
What are you doing now? I mean, with them depriving you of your livelihood, how do you make ends meet?
it's a great question. I got fired last Tuesday. I'm still trying to figure that out, but we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We got a lot of support, and, it's going to take a lot to make this campaign win. The support we have from the labor movement. We've had workers all around this area give $5, $10, whatever it is, to have an office, to print the literature we need, to talk to our coworkers, and to keep us strong. So going to need all the support in the world to fight this company.
You plan to stay involved to the end?
I do, yeah. I'm not going anywhere. They are scared. Amazon's scared. They know that we have momentum right now, and they wanted to take one of us out. Has been involved in from the beginning because, they want to try and stop us and scare our coworkers, but we're not going to let that happen. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are our supporters in the workplace, our committee members.
Speaking of community support, you mentioned the rally on Saturday. You mentioned you can give you $5, $10. What can other union members, community members who want to support? What can they do and how can they do that?
Yeah, so we have our rally, Constitution vote kickoff, the Florence Community Church Center. It's 12 to 6, Saturday, February 3rd, and we encourage all union supporters, KCVG workers, of course, their family, their friends, anybody that cares about workers' rights. Working people all around the area should be there. It's going to be childcare, games for the kids, food from community members, and I always tell people donate $30 to fight for $30 an hour. If you're in a union, if you're a member of a union, we've got model resolutions that you can pass in your local to get a contribution to fund our campaign, to keep me in the fight, to keep others in this fight, to take on this company. Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you guys again for coming out. We really appreciate it.
Woo.